Down there.
Nope. Got it.
Well, the head said something.
Yeah.
See that big gator up there? Underneath that skin on his back is solid bone. It's like a solar panel. See, the dark skin absorbs heat, the bone holds heat. See, bone is like a stone or asphalt. It holds heat for quite a while. Fat muscle don't. So they gotta get that temperature about 86 degrees. And they keep about 85, that way they get hot all night. Gators hunt mostly at nighttime. That's why I always tell you, never go swimming in a rock pit or anything at night, because that's when they go to hunting mode. All right, sit down, young lady. I'm gonna crank her up, kick her away before you get stuck up, and you have to wrestle that big gator when he jumps in the boat. Dead tree is called an inga. Indians call them the snake bird. They got the long brown neck. They dive in the water to catch fish. They stick that neck out working like a snake on top of the water. But we have the blackbird, the solid black short black. There's a comrade. They're both the same type of bird, like they dive in the water to catch fish. So they gotta get in them trees and dry their wings because they got like an oil base. Because it gets too wet, they can't fly for very far. So they gotta dry their wings on so they can fly. That tree over the left there, hanging over the water in front of the boat to the left there, that's a white mangrove. See how light the bark is? The head a little bit here. You see it? You can see how light the bark is, like somebody splashed it white paint. That's a white mangrove. Now the other trees to the left and right of it on the shoreline with the limbs coming out, the roots come off the limb, that's the red mangrove. They call that the red mangrove. If you peel the bark back, the wood's kind of a reddish color. And the Indians call them the walking tree because they do grow about 3 foot a year. They're fast growing. So a lot of these trails we run down is about as wide as this boat. So we do trim them back. We're not allowed to remove them and kill them. They are protected. Well, we're protected because the roots go about 5 feet in the mud. They have like fingers intertwined. And the prop root come off the limb stabilizes that limb. And the base roots are real flimsy. During hurricanes, rush the water, high winds, and the roots kind of lay down a little bit. When the storm goes, they'll spring back up. That's why they're protected, because if you start cutting them down, you will go to jail. Big fine.
Never cut it. Good for you. What?
It's gonna move.
Is that a gator?
Yeah.
Gators can jump close to 6 feet out of the water. That's why my seat's higher than yours.
Makes sense.
Good
They can
idea.
swim 15 mile an hour in the water under 30 on land. They can outrun a quarter horse 1/8 of a mile. They always tell you if you get chased by an alligator, run zigzag. I always tell them I'm a short, fat guy. I don't do 30 mile an hour. So about a half a zig, be back in that gator's mouth. So I always bring a friend along. I owe you no money, trip them. Let the gator get in and you get away. See the bump on his nose sticking above the water there? You measure on the back side of that bump to his eyeballs in inches how many feet an alligator is. If it's 7 inches, he's 7 feet long. That looks like about a 6 footer, it looks like to me, guessing. And you can eat 98% of an alligator, ribs and all. Keep it out of the trees over there. But gators do not chew their food. They use that jaw part to crush bones, turtle shells, and crabs. They swallow their prey whole.
Wow.
So if it's too big to swallow, they'll stick it in a gator cave beneath a log, let it rot, and they tear it apart and eat it. That's when they tell you if you get bit by an alligator, only you go put rocks and alcohol to take care of the bacteria we want. Because you'll end up with gangrene. They have a nasty bite. I had a young lady on the boat about 7 months because she looked at Captain Ryan. I said, yeah. She goes, you like alligator meat? Oh man, I can't beat it. Hot sauce and cold beer, can't beat it. She goes, but eat rotten meat. I said, that's what gives a good flavor.
Tenderizer.
Yeah, she goes, I don't know if I can eat it or not. And I explained that we have alligator farms. They raise the meat and hide. They do feed them fresh chicken. I think the gators in the wild, they really wouldn't pass the food inspection very good. The government probably wouldn't pass it. But it's not bad. I've eaten a lot of them. Keep it all up good. But that's the thing about the gators. They can handle this brackish water for about 36 hours. And then they gotta go find fresh water to prove the system out. They're not like the saltwater crocodiles. Saltwater crocodiles, they like the saltwater. They got a salt gland. They can process the salt. As you get in the Everglades City and the river and all that salt water, you got to see quite a few gators. I mean crocodiles. And like I said, the gators well just laid in this water here because it's got about 20% salt. It might be less because we have a freshwater spring in here. And that's what they do. Lay around all day long, like me on a rough night drinking. Find your place to pass out. All right, guys, y'all ready to ride?
Yeah.
All right, let's go ride. Just watch your hat and get your headsets on.
We get our headsets on. Who's that? There's a third group. They're all going scared next to the alligator.
Welcome to the Everglades, 1.5 million acres of mangrove swamps and grasslands.
Wow.
This right here is considered part of the 10,000 islands of the Everglades. We're really only about 4 miles from the Gulf of Mexico.
Wow.
And there's really no tide flowing here at all. If we get salt water from the Gulf, you get like a spring high tide and a full moon, it does drift into here. But this is brackish water. Right here is about 45% salt. And there's got a freshwater spring. That's why it's about 20% or less. you're getting lost in the Everglades, always look for palm trees. It's high, dry ground, a place you sleep at night.
Uh-huh.
I guess we're lost.
I doubt it.
But thank goodness Corey Billy built a replica of a Seminole Indian village out of here on this mound. Now that's Cheeky up closest to us, that's where they eat at. One on the left is where they cook at, and one's in the back is where they sleep at. This is for one small family. There's just a replica though. They couldn't live on this side of the road. This water's too salty, they couldn't drink it.
Right.
And, but his village down by Old Choppy going down towards Homestead, that's down there where the world's smallest post office is at. About the size of an outhouse. There's a real post office. Guys sit there all day long and pass the mail out. They used to give my granddad's mail out there. The guys sit there all day long and pass it to you. And, but they built the village on that side of the road because that water's fresh water. Because they run from Lake Okeechobee River year round. And plus they built the village on the grass prairies. That way they got quail, rabbit, deer. And the Seminoles used the cypress trees to make their canoes out of. And the Seminoles have never signed a peace treaty with us. Now the Miccosukee Indians used to be part of the Seminoles. But they want to sign a peace treaty, it has to split the tribes. That's why I like going hunting with Corey. He's got to get out of jail free card, I call it. He can live off the land, kill anything he wants, get away with it. And you ever heard of Heart of Palm?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. He goes in fancy restaurants and you get a bowl up, I guess, in 20 bucks. I don't know. They don't allow me in fancy restaurants. I go to my pair of shorts and t-shirt. That's a dress code, you guys. I said, I am dressed. If I take my clothes off, I'll be naked. You won't let me in there for sure. But these palms, these are sable palms. That's how messed up Florida is. That's our state tree. That's